Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to talk about one of the mobile applications that I was most excited for, and that is Davinci Resolve, which is now available on iPadOS and iOS, and it works great. If you don't know what Davinci Resolve is, it is a fantastic full-featured video editor. It's available for Mac, Windows, and Linux, and now it's available to run on your iPad as well, and it works great. Just like the desktop version, they have two versions. They have a free version and then they have the paid studio version. But just like that desktop version, the free version is probably going to be enough for the large number of people that are out there. So let's get into this. I wanted to show you a little bit about it, show you how you can move stuff from the mobile application to your desktop if you want to finish things off on there, and just give you a little tutorial on it. So let's jump into it. All right, now first of all, I'm using this little CalDigit Soho dock because I need to export the video out to capture it. And it also allows me to use the video card from my camera and my external drive and copy things directly from that card to the external drive. And I'm talking about MP4 H.264 encoded, and I can edit it without transcoding or anything on here. So let's fire up Davinci Resolve and take a look at this. All right, so here we are in Resolve, and I am not going to be really doing a tutorial in this video. This is to give you an overview. Happy to do a tutorial. If enough people want to see that, just let me know. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to create a new project. So we're going to click down on the little house icon there to get you to the projects window, do a new project. Let's just call it video. So next we want to make sure that the settings are correct for our video. So the timeline resolution, we want to make sure that is set for whatever we want to edit. Here's 1080p. I want to do 4K, so we're going to leave it on 4K. And then I usually do 2997 for the frames per second and hit save. Now what we can do is we can take that external drive that I was talking about and we can hook that into our CalDigit Soho dock. And if you want to know where I got this, I got a link down in the description that'll take you to Amazon to get one of these. It works great with this iPad. Okay, so now that that drive is connected, we can go out to files if we want, just to make sure that it's there, and go to our root, and we can see that that T7 drive is there. So we're going to go back into Davinci Resolve, click on import, navigate out to that external drive we plugged in, and I'm just going to grab some clips from, some previous videos that I've done. So let's just grab a couple of A-rolls from here, get these first three maybe, and we're going to open those. So those are added to our project now, and they're still on the stored drive, and we can come in here and drag one of these over to the window, and we can see the full audio waveform for the whole clip down here. We can play through it. We can select points. We can move frame by frame. So I'm just going to go here and I'm going to set an in point there. And again, I'm not actually trying to make a video here. I'm just doing it for demonstration purposes. So let's navigate here and set an out point, and then we can drag that down to our timeline. So real quickly, let me just chop up another one of these clips here. I'll do an in point here, out point here, and boom. Okay, so now we have a quick little timeline built here. We can play through it. Integrated GPU, it's got a slower CPU. We can scrub through it with no problem. So let's go to this break here, and let's add a transition. So we can come into the transition area. There's all these different transitions that we can add. This is just like the desktop version. There's tons of transitions. I think it's the same transitions in here that are on the full desktop version. So let's add just a, let's do a simple cross dissolve. We're just going to grab it, drag it down to that break, and then play it and see if it works. As far as native games, if you can answer that. And as you see, that worked fine. We can get rid of that if we want and do this blur dissolve, make it a little fancier. See how that works. If you can answer. And there you go. It generates the transition in real time on this M1 iPad. It's fantastic. This is the 11-inch M1 iPad. The great thing about Davinci Resolve is the world-class color tools. So we're going to just, let's say, select this clip, move our playhead so it's over the clip, and go into the color area. And we can go ahead and add some nodes. There's one node in here, and we're going to add just a couple more. So Option S on the keyboard if you're using a keyboard with this. You don't have to use the keyboard. You can just use the touch, but it's definitely a lot easier with the keyboard. So we can change our graphs to parade, waveform, vector scope, histogram. I usually use the waveform, and I'm going to come over and, bring the blacks down a little bit. And then I am going to bring up the mids just a tiny bit here. And I think I'm going to leave the gain where it is. And then over here on a second node, I want to add some saturation, and I'm just doing this because that way, if I ever want to tweak just one, I can just tweak that node. I don't have to go back through everything. Let's just say that the 60, make it super saturated. And then I am going to come here and go into the blur and sharpen this just a little bit. And there we go. Color correction is done in real time. If we go back here, it doesn't affect the playback. We can still play back. We can still scrub through the clip, no problem. And you'll be able to see between these two clips.
If you can.
So there you can see the difference of the color correction between the two. Generates it in real time. The level of correction that you can do, and you can do some tracking in here. You can do stabilization. The amount of things that you can do is fantastic within this application. There's another great application called LumaFusion that I was using before Davinci Resolve came out. But because I use Davinci Resolve on the desktop, using it on the iPad just makes sense. LumaFusion is fantastic, but since I'm using this on my other computers, I'm going to be using Davinci Resolve. Now, say we are done with our video and we want to export it. We can come up to export. We can export it as H.264, H.265, ProRes, go directly to YouTube, Vimeo, Twitter, Dropbox, all these different options. But say there's things within this version of the application that only exist on the desktop. For instance, if you want to use Fusion to do some more in-depth effects, they don't have that on the iPad version, but it is on the desktop version. So we can easily export our application out. All we need to do is go to the Projects tab, find our project. We can right-click on it, and then we can either export the project, so that will export just the project without the video. So for me, since I added off this external drive, that's fine. I can just export the project, bring it over to my computer, relink the clips, and then I'm off and going. But you can also export the project archive, and that will export it with all the video files if you're going to be moving that whole package to another drive. So that's a great option. Now, the thing about these exports and using an external drive is it doesn't export to the external drive directly. So if we go into export and we try to go to T7, and then let me just do a new folder here, call it export. And then I'm going to save this file. So it looks like it exported just fine. But if we go back to files, go to T7, export, there's nothing in there. So this does export, but it does not export to the external drive. So what you need to do is export the project. I created a folder on my iPad, just called it test. We're going to go ahead and save this. And then now we can go back into our Files app, go to my iPad, test, and then here's that video that we just exported. We can copy this onto our external drive at that point. It's kind of a pain, but it does allow you to export it out and bring it into your other computer. Or if you're using a Mac, you can just airdrop it over to your desktop, however you want to do it. Now, it's a little bit different if you're doing the whole package. If you want to export the project archive, you can go out here, select your location. Let's just do this export. And then we're going to open that. Now, you would think that it would default to that location, but it doesn't. At least the way it puts it in here, it's not going to export to that location. But once this dialog box is here, we can browse again, select the location and change the name up here. Video, let's do video package. We're going to open that and then click OK. So it's copying the media files. It's saving out that project just like it did in the other version. But now it's creating a whole package that you can just transfer that package, and that contains the video files and everything. So then if we go back to files, export, we can see that that whole package is here. The media files are contained within this media files directory. And again, you can just airdrop that over or copy it over the network or put it on an external drive, however you want to do it. All right, so that's really what I wanted to show you today. If you want to see a full tutorial, I'm happy to do that. I just scratched the very top surface of what you can do. I just wanted to show you that on your M1 iPad, you can edit 4K H.264 videos right off your camera with real-time transitions, real-time color correction, all that stuff. It just kind of blows me away. If there's anything more advanced I need to do, like if I need to do anything in Fusion, I'll just export it like I showed you, copy it over to one of my more powerful machines and finish the edit there. But really, for probably 75% of what I do, I could do this completely here. And that is why just having this application has basically made the iPad my primary mobile device. I really don't need a full-featured laptop. This has become my laptop because I can do everything that I need to do on this device now. Thanks so much for stopping by. If you want to check out that doc that I've been using in this video, there's a link down in the description. Leave any questions or comments you have down in the comment section, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks so much for stopping by.